Welcome to episode 8 of Nantvar Brews. My name is Andy and I am a home brewer and beer lover based here in Cardiff, Wales in the UK. Nantvar is a Welsh phrase, it means big stream and it's the name of a river that flows locally to me, in fact, about 40 metres that way. Nantvar Brews is the name of my tiny home brewery and it's also the name of this podcast. The aim of this podcast is to have great conversations inspired by beer with people who are passionate about beer and do all this ideally over a beer. I'm currently in my garage. It's full of junk, if I'm honest, although I have carved out some space for my fermentation chamber, which is a fridge off Gumtree, and a space for my kegs and my CO2 canister. There it is. The reason I'm recording this intro in my garage is really just to set the tone for what is a very special episode. Ever since I started the Nantvar Brews podcast, I've wanted to support the local brewing scene here in South Wales, visit local brewers, buy beer off them and have a chat with them. The idea is to put those chats on the podcast to spread the word and support what they do. There are some brilliant breweries here in Wales and this episode is all about one that can, in one way at least, claim to be the very best. Not just in Wales or the UK, but actually the best in the whole world. You'll have to listen to the end to find out how that works. It's also, by my reckoning, the smallest commercial brewery in Wales because, like me right now, it's in a garage. So this is our first in-brewery episode of the Nantvar Brews podcast. It was great fun to do, and I hope to be doing more of these. I think you'll really enjoy this one too, so grab a beer, get comfy, and take a listen. Dogswindow Brewery is in Bridgend. It's run by Lee, and he makes some quite spectacular beers that have been gaining an elite reputation. Here's what happened when I gave him a visit. Right, so I'm here at the Dogswindow Brewery in Bridgend, and I'm here with Lee, and I don't quite know how to describe this place other than it is literally a garage. I came here thinking it might be a big industrial unit. I turned up at a residential home in the hills above Bridgend after a nice walk from the station, and Lee welcomed me into his garage. Lee, hello.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Yeah, it's good. It's a bit chilly today, but yeah, everything's good.
Right, so give us the tour.
Right, this tour is going to take about 25 seconds, unfortunately, because, as you can see, it's absolutely tiny in here. It's basically a single garage that I've squeezed as much kit into as I possibly could. So if we go down this way.
We're literally going, 3 metres.
Right, to start off, we've got a hot liquor tank, which feeds the mash tun, usually using about 100 kilos of grain per recipe.
That's quite big, isn't it?
It's reasonable, yeah. I mean, for what I've got in the garage, then it is pretty big, actually.
Are you pretty much at full capacity for what you can fit in here, you reckon?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Unless I move stuff into sheds and maybe get another fermenter in here, yeah, this is about as much as I can fit.
Okay, so carry on.
Okay, so after the mash tun, all the nice starches turn into sugars and gets pumped over. This is really weird because we're literally walking inches between these tanks. So the next one is the boil kettle, where all the magic happens. The sweet water goes into there, gets boiled with the hops, and then straight next to that, there's the heat exchanger, which will cool down to yeast pitching temperature, and then shove a pipe in there, and it goes into the fermenter behind you, where the yeast does its thing and turns the sweet water into alcohol and beer.
So how often are you brewing?
Usually one and a half times a week.
Okay, and how much are you producing from each brew?
In between 300 and 360 litres per batch.
And then what are you doing with it? Is it a mixture of kegs and cans?
It's kegs and cans at the moment, yes. Supplying places right the way throughout the UK. So my beer goes as far up as Glasgow, goes across to London, do a lot in Manchester actually. Not quite sure why, but the Manchester people seem to be absolutely lapping up my beer.
Well, Manchester's got a very strong craft beer scene, so I guess that they do like their beer up there, and they know their beer as well. Now, I should describe. We've got various different types of equipment here. The first kind of 2 vessels that we saw are kind of wooden clad. Now, have you built these yourself, or did you get them from somewhere else? What's the story with these ones?
The wooden ones are actually they're from a different brewery. they upgraded their kit, so I bought that off them. They've gone bigger, and I kind of worked out on the computer that dimensions-wise that those 3 would fit along there with no space left over to use. And yeah, in they went.
Brilliant. So we've got all the vessels that we did there on the tour, and then, this is like a residential garage, so we've got like a dishwasher, I think, and a fridge. But that is for the brewery, is it? Or for...
No, it's a tumble dryer down the
I love it. And then, various bits of... We've got the freezer, we've got, stuff that you would find in a normal garage. And then knitted between is all this kind of top-level brewing equipment. It reminds me of my own setup in my garage, except on steroids, basically. It's as much as you can do in a garage, effectively, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. I'd like to see somebody who's actually doing more. One thing I did miss out is my canning station.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Because I actually can in-house, if you follow me this way.
Again, 3 meters.
I've got a 4-filler canning station. Cans go onto there, purged with CO2, then filled with beer, and then I've got a desktop can seamer. They go into there, then it's all done, into the box, ready to be labelled.
That looks quite laborious, though, because you're doing 1 can at a time, right?
It'll run 3 cans at a time.
This sealing machine is... Oh, is that 3 at a time as well?
Oh, no, that's just... Yeah, the seamer is just 1 can at a time.
And is that just a few seconds that takes? I've never done canning.
Yeah, it's just literally you press the button, it spins around. I can get about 70 cans done an hour.
Wow. Okay. So and from a normal batch, how many cans are you having to do?
Well, first of all, it goes into keg, so I get about 12 kegs out of a batch roughly, and then I get about 62 cans per keg. So I'll keg it first, then can from the kegs.
Ah, okay, right. So how much of your life is this taking up, time-wise?
Too much.
I love it. Look, congratulations. It's absolutely fantastic. And I think for homebrewers like me, and I know there's a lot of homebrewers that listen, I just want to tell everyone, this is the level that you can get to. But I can see the kind of pathway from what I'm doing to here. I'm not saying I would ever want to do this, but the equipment looks familiar. The processes I recognise. It's just the kit is just a bit bigger and a bit more professional. But, it's still the same process, isn't it?
Oh, it is exactly. I mean, when people say that I'm a commercial brewer, I said, no, I'm just still a home brewer because I'm brewing at home with exactly the same process that everybody else does. Just to point out as well, the reason I don't have any spare time is I do absolutely everything. Dogswindow has a total staff count of 1. I designed the website, built that, do all the label designs, I brew, can, keg, dispatch, absolutely everything. So, each can has pretty much only been handled by me until it hits the shops.
I absolutely love that. And I think that maybe brewing is one of the few industries where you could actually do that and have, a professional... I mean, I know there'll be food manufacturers that do that, maybe with kind of like, I don't know, jams and pickles and that kind of stuff. But to be able to do everything yourself and get your product, in all of these outlets up and down the country, congratulations. That's a hell of an achievement.
Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, I'm going out to roughly about 85 to 100 locations at the moment. Obviously, they're not placing big orders every day, otherwise I would need staff. But no, it's going out really well, I must admit.
And are you commercially? Is it working? I mean, obviously it's something that you love doing, but is it making you money? Would you be able to contemplate growing in the future if you wanted to?
It is making money, yes. As far as growth is concerned, by the time I'm probably at a point where I need to grow, I'd probably be looking at retirement anyway. So it's going to stay like this. It's very comfortable. It's paying bills. The good thing about staying at this size is basically I can walk away from it easy because everything I have here now is all bought and paid for. I just turn it back into a garage and sell all my kit off if I had to.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Because it's you can control what you do with it. It's obviously enjoyable for you at the moment. Nice to have that income coming in as well. But like you say, you're in complete control of it. That's brilliant. Right, I want to rewind because it feels like you've got to this point where it's almost the most you can do and you're happy with that. You're not saying you really want to grow much more. But where did it all start? Take me right back to the beginning if you can with your kind of home brewing journey.
Well, first started off with a kit by Tiny Rebel called Kutch.
Love that beer and know that kit.
Yeah, it's an amazing kit. It opened my eyes to what can be done in the home, because I tasted that beer and it tasted like craft beer. It didn't taste like, something that came out of a can. It actually tasted like decent beer. So I'm one of these people, once I get into a hobby, I kind of run at it 100 miles an hour and don't stop until I hit the end, basically. So from there, I went into modifying my own kits. So buying specialty grains, steeping them, adding my own hops. So I'd say probably within 2 months of doing my first kit, I was modifying kits, basically making up my own recipes, where I was just using a very basic kit, just the malt extract, and building on that.
So you hadn't even gone all grain at that point. You were still using extract as the base, but just kind of riffing off that effectively.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can make award-winning beers with just the malt extract. There's no reason you can't. Obviously, you can make better beers with all grain and everything, but you can still make really, really drinkable beers. After that, then it was all grain. So we're probably only looking at probably about 6-7 months since I started brewing. I started with all grain then, about 6 months in. A friend of mine has a beer subscription business, so I was inviting him over to try the beers that I made, and he said to me, "Look, this beer is so good, I want to be the first to stock you if you ever go commercial." Wow. So route to market before I'd actually done anything. So I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to bother with all that, all the paperwork and everything. And he just beat me down in the end. From doing the first Kutch kit to actually going commercial was around about 12 months.
That is absolutely incredible. Hats off to you. You did say that once you go for a hobby, you go 100 miles an hour. But that's 200 miles an hour. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I just absolutely anorak everything. Sort of all my spare time is spent watching YouTube videos and everything like that. I did a few brews at a friend's brewery as well, just to find out how the kit worked. From my first all grain, which was a 35 litre, I then went up to a 50 litre, which is when I went commercial. I was selling loads more beer. Well, I had the potential to sell loads more beer than I was making at the time, so I bought a second 50 litre, so I was doing 100 litre batches. That didn't last very long either. I went up to 200 litre then, and then what you see in front of you, which I've had for about 2.5 years now.
A question that I've asked before and found hard to get an answer to, and I know other people have asked me, is what do you need to do to be able to do this with all the, you've got to tell the council and you've got to get all your health and safety, and it seems, you read on a lot of forums, because I think a lot of people at homebrew have their mates have exactly the same experience of you, go, well, that's really nice, you should sell that. And they think, oh, well, I would do for a bit of fun. And then they look into it and they think, well, that's just too much paperwork, too much hoops to jump through. So how did you navigate that whole side of it?
Well, it was an absolute pain, to be honest. And if I knew absolutely everything that I needed to do to start the brewery, I probably wouldn't have done it in the first place. I sort of had the basics there, looked on the forums and looked on the internet to find out exactly what you needed to do. It doesn't really prepare you for the costs involved as well. To start with, I had to go to the local council for planning permission to turn this from a garage into a brewery, which is really strange because at the time I was just home brewing in here, but selling it. But they actually wanted a change of usage to call it a brewery so I could physically sell from here. So planning permission, I think that was about £400 if I remember rightly.
And even though nothing on the outside of the building's changed, it's still a garage. But I guess it's one of those computer says no moments where you've got to jump through the hoop.
It was, yeah, and until I actually got it registered as a brewery, there was other paperwork that I couldn't even apply for because it was still essentially a garage, which essentially it still is.
And then from there on, you've got, I know there's lots of excise stuff you have to deal with, so you're dealing with HMRC. And then do you have to come? Does someone come in and inspect it from food safety or something like that? Does that happen?
Yeah. I've had a food safety inspection. Got 4 out of 5.
Congrats.
Well, thank you very much. Which I was very impressed with, because I didn't actually expect to be able to get that higher standard, because it's a bog standard garage. You kind of see all these commercial kitchens and see all this stainless steel stuff. Obviously, I got stainless steel here, but like wall claddings and floor drains and stuff like that. And he said, no, your processes are good enough that you're not going to cause any problems to the public. So there you go, there's a 4. One of the other things as well about the application of paperwork, which I didn't know about at the time, to actually have the planning permission to turn this into a SOSE brewery, I had to pay £150 to the local newspaper to put an advert in there to say that I was doing it, so I was alerting the public on what was going to happen. Okay, it's got to be done, the paperwork's there for a reason, but it's like the bills really, really add up, and nobody, up until this day, I should write a piece actually of what I went through and the total costs involved, because you just turn the corner and somebody goes, yeah, I need an extra 150, 400, 700 pounds just to write this piece of paper for you.
I mean, you really should do. I mean, whether you'll have the time amongst all the brewing you're doing, or maybe we could make a special episode all about it, because I've been through that. You think about it as a home brewer. You think, can I go and sell at a farmer's market or something like that? But the paperwork seemed overwhelming. But you've done it. You've navigated it all. Out of interest, how much do you think all of that process cost you? Is it in the hundreds or is it in the thousands?
It's in the thousands, definitely, yes.
Wow, okay. So it is... I can see why people don't do it, but it's a shame, because... And we'll go back here to how I even found out about you guys. Now, Nantvar Brews is a podcast based in Cardiff. I always have to explain this. I don't sound Welsh. I moved to Cardiff about 6 years ago. I'm always going to sound like I'm from London, where I grew up. But, Wales is my home. Yeah, Nantvar Brews is based in Cardiff. So part of what I wanted to do with this podcast was support the local brewing scene. So I've always been looking about where are the breweries. But what really put me onto your brewery was a tweet from Melissa Cole, who's a beer writer, critically acclaimed beer books. She's an influential person within the industry. And she tweeted that I think the 2 best breweries in South Wales, or the beer that she'd enjoyed most, was this brewery and one other, which I can't remember. And I'll look it up and I'll try and visit them as well. But I mean, that is incredible that from home brewing within a few years and going through that process and being persistent, you've got to the point where, one of the most trusted voices in beer writing is saying your beers are brilliant.
Yeah, it was a big shock, actually, because I'd sent Melissa some beers probably about 2 years before that tweet came out. So you expect somebody who's that busy. I mean, I think it's over 2,500 breweries in the UK now. You probably know that. And out of all those 2,500 breweries, she actually recalled mine and the other one, which was Wild Horse.
That's it, yeah, Wild Horse, which they're on my list. Do you know those guys?
I met with them the first time yesterday, actually, strangely enough. I've joined SIBA, Society of Independent Brewers, and we had a meeting. So it was the first one I've even gone to, and I got to meet them there, and they're a really lovely couple.
Oh, well, you can tell them how amazing it is to be on the podcast, and then they'll give me the interview.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah.
This is how it works in South Wales. It's a fantastic story. I think now, if it's okay, we should have a taste of the beer, if that's all right.
I don't see any problem with that whatsoever.
That's what I like to hear. Right, so again, we're navigating, to a couple of meters. Oh, look, I can recognise this is the type of thing. This is exactly what I've got at home. So this is your old 35-litre Brewzilla, if I'm not mistaken.
That is, I think it's 50 litre, if I remember rightly.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit bigger than mine.
Yeah.
It's on the floor. Mine's usually on the table.
I did have 2 of those working in tandem, 100 litre, so probably came out about 80 litre batches at the time.
Would you still use that to do test brews? Sounds like a no.
I'm just trying to think of a way of wording this where I don't sound absolutely insane. But I probably am, actually. My test brew is a full-size brew every time.
I love that. That's pure confidence. But then if you know your equipment and you know your processes, then that's fine. And this is one of the things I love about home brewing. I try to explain to people. once you've got the basic processes in place, it's very hard to not make beer. And even if you make something that tastes a little bit odd or not what you expect, there are plenty of people who will drink free beer that's perfectly drinkable.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Not that I'd want to give away 360 litres of the stuff. But, on the homebrew level. But the way I explain it to people is it's like being a chef. So if you're making a spaghetti bolognese, you're not going to put something like custard in it because it just wouldn't make sense. And it's the same with brewing. As long as you know the ingredients you're using and kind of got an idea in your head how the beer is going to come out, then nothing can really go wrong. I mean, I've done some real off-the-wall stuff as well. I did a tomato and blackcurrant saison once. It was a bit divisive because, you could pick out the tomato in it, but on Untapped, it was regularly getting 4 out of 5 plus. And just done another saison recently, which was sage and orange. So, you can play about with stuff, but obviously if you get an idea that goes into your head and you think, no, that's just stupid, then, just stay away from it. But yeah, my trial batches are full batches these days.
So one of the earlier interviews I did, weirdly, you're the first brewery I've spoken to in my native South Wales, which is another reason I'm really happy to be here. A lot of the breweries I've spoken to, weirdly, have been microbreweries in America, and one of them called Bad Idea Brewing Company, which is such a great name for a brewery, based on his wife's comment when he said he was going to start the brewery. He said he's got an obsession with the cereal aisle in his supermarket, so he will go and find all these sweet cereals that he loved as a kid, like Golden Grahams or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and he'll put them in as additions. And he said exactly the same as you, in that if you kind of know what you're doing and you know roughly what to expect, then people will go with you on it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I've put some strange ingredients, well, obviously tomato being possibly the strangest one I've used. As long as what you're using goes with the flavours that are already there, as in beer flavours, then yeah, it works.
I really like that confidence that there's no need to do a test brew, just trust your recipe, and I think that analogy with the chef is spot on as well. Right, so talk us through the tasting that we're going to do.
Okay, right, first of all, we'll go over to here. This chest freezer is...
We're literally moving the Hoover at the moment.
Oh, that's just brilliant. This is my hop storage. As soon as the lid opens, take a sniff inside there.
This is going to be a hit. Whew. Wow. I mean, I actually smelt it as soon as I came in, and it's, if you're a home brewer, or even just if you like your beer, it's such a comforting smell to smell that kind of little aroma of hops. You know you're in a place that's making beer. So, wow, I can see Yakima and stuff in there. So you've got some kind of quite pungent hops going on there. It's funny, again, comparing to my own setup, whereas Lee's got like these vast foil bags of hops, which are like 10 times the size of the ones I've got, but he's still got them clipped with a little plastic clippy thing, just like I do. So there's some things that don't change.
Right, that's where I've got the made beers, but I've got a little bit of a treat for you.
Oh wow, here we go.
Because in the fermenter, I'm cold crashing at the moment a brand new beer that's not hit the shelves. It's a new recipe, so okay, you will be the first person to try that apart from me.
Wow, this is a Namvar Brews exclusive. And here we go, we've got a little spray of Star San, which again, we've all done that. We all do that the whole time. So he's just giving it a few sprays of Star San to make sure that that's nice and clean. And we're going to drain something off that's been cold crashing. Wow, so it's pouring. It's looking pretty light. Right, here we go. Right, so we've got, it's cloudy. I guess you would look at it and think it was a Nipa or something like that. It's got that kind of American Pale Ale kind of citrusy look to it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to smell like that or taste like that, but I'm just trying to describe the look. Right, I mean, that, to be honest, that's smelling less in your face than I was expecting. So I'm expecting a very balanced beer now.
At the moment, that's actually at 4 degrees.
Oh, so it's not going to give much, is it? Yeah, it needs to warm up a bit to give off the aromas.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit lower than the temperature you'd normally drink at.
Do you want to tell me what I'm drinking, or would you rather not and get my unfiltered opinion and try and guess what I'm drinking? I don't think my beer knowledge is good enough to be able to guess.
Well, actually, it'd probably be best if you try and guess what it is, because then that's what I can call it. Being a new recipe, I don't actually know what it is yet. So, whatever you call it, that's what it's going to go out as.
Blimey. I feel a big responsibility here. Right, let's give it a taste. That is lovely. Wow, there's a lot going on in there. It's tasting a bit saison-y to me. Or am I way off?
You're way off.
I'm way off. But it's got that slight kind of pepperiness to it, which I really like in a beer. It's some form of pale ale. And it reminds me a bit of a elusive brewing beer called Level Up, which is their kind of red ale. It's got the same kind of... Is there some Simcoe hops in there?
There is Simcoe in there. Well spotted.
Having thought it reminded me of a saison, I was in trouble there.
What you're probably picking up, there's...
put me out of my misery here. Tell me a bit about it.
Okay. What you're picking up, the spicy notes, there's an English hop in there called Jester.
Right, okay.
Which does bring according to the hop profile anyway, has got, like, generally British hops have got earthy, spicy, that sort of notes. So there's that in there with Simcoe and Amarillo.
Yeah. I mean, it's lovely, I must say. It's drinking so smooth, and sometimes people have a problem with craft beer, saying, "Oh, these flavors are going to be so funky, it's really an assault on the senses." But this is very drinkable. It doesn't taste that strong. How strong is it?
I haven't taken a final gravity reading on it yet, but it should be around about 5.2.
Yeah, on the edge of sessionable. Depends how brave you're feeling. But I know it's cold as well, so it's straight out of the cold crash. But it doesn't taste that strong at all. It's incredibly smooth drinking. It's really, really nice. So give me the full recipe or what you think you're going to define it as.
It was either going to be a IPA or a pale ale. One of the things I really get hung up on is beer styles.
I'm with you. That's why I was really, and you could see me visibly squirming about what the hell do I call this? I mean, for me, tasting it, do I like it? And I really like that. So there you go. But yeah, tell me more about your thoughts on beer styles.
I think every beer should just have the word beer on the front of it, because probably some of this stems from very popular app Untapped. Because if somebody tries something and it doesn't fit into the beer style you've called it, they'll score it down.
Yeah, that's silly, because that's not what beer drinking is about. It's about enjoyment, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if you get a stout that's the same colour as that beer, then obviously that's completely off style and should be, marked down. But I've had beers. I did a Citra double IPA, lovely beer, 8.4%, had some nice caramel toffee notes in it, and regularly scoring again between 4 and 5 on Untapped. Then you get a few reviews. Oh, it's too sweet for an IPA. But that is, people don't know what the brewer's obviously aiming to get. I was looking for a slightly sweeter IPA with a bit of caramel notes, going back to the older IPAs, and that's why beer styles really do annoy me.
And also, beer styles only become a style because someone tried something different and people liked it. It became more popular, and then people went, "Oh, look, that's a style." Think of all of the various definitions of the extremes of pale ale and double, triple hop stuff. That didn't exist 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and now it's become a thing. So I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to sort of have a description on the front saying light beer, very hoppy. That's my beer style. So whatever you make it, medium colour beer, slightly malty, good hop presence. I'd much rather have that than actual beer styles.
So what was your thinking with this one? This is the first time you've ever brewed it? Going back to that chef analogy, and you wouldn't put custard in spaghetti. What were you kind of thinking when you were dreaming up this one?
Most of my beers of that style, I put wheat in. This time I actually left them out and used more oats for a slightly different mouthfeel on it. I put a little bit of caramel malt in there, because I think if you just go with full pale malt, it's kind of a little bit one-dimensional. And the hop choice, I'll be completely honest, I was going to say on camera then, on microphone, A lot of my hop choice for that was stuff that I had left in the freezer.
All home brewers listening to this have done that. What have I got left? What can I possibly make out of it? And that's where you end up with some interesting combinations.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it wasn't purely for that. Obviously, the hop choice was driven by what I wanted the beer to taste like. But yeah, I had a lot of certain hops left over, so it was kind of, it took me down a little pathway to what the beer was going to be.
Do you keep very, very specific records of all your recipes, or is it a bit less kind of formal than that?
It's a bit of both. I've got totally accurate recipe management. So if I wanted to make this beer again, if it absolutely flies off the shelf and it's the best beer I've ever made, then you want really good records to be able to make it again. But I'm a very organic brewer, and sometimes I'm a little bit too organic. I'll give you an example. I was making a double dry hopped Simcoe IPA. Now, I got some Simcoe hops ridiculously cheap from another brewery, and I was never going to make this. I hadn't planned ever to make this beer again, so I was brewing on a friend's kit, which is a 10-barrel kit, sort of hop ratio, and sort of getting in your head how much of this.
That's a lot.
this Simcoe hop I picked up.
It's like a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, not far off. So I went over there, and he's a very technical brewer. Everything's got to be, to the nth degree. So I was brewing on his kit, and I wasn't really familiar with it. And he came across, he went, "Oh, you've put too much water in that." Oh, right, okay, so it's not going to be as strong as I wanted. And it's not going to be as hoppy as I wanted, because there's too much liquid in it. So I said to him, "Oh, right, I've bunged some more hops in." He said, "How much have you put in then?" I cupped my hands together like that. I said, "About that much."
Did all the colour drain from his face?
He did. He went, "So what if this is the best beer you've ever made and you don't know how to make it again?" I said, "Well, that's just tough luck on me, isn't it? I hadn't planned to make it again, so..."
If you want to make it again, just put another handful in. That's what you did last time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. My hands aren't going to change size, are they?
You're right to have that mixture. Obviously, you're now selling lots of beers, and you'll have beers of yours that people know and love and expect it to be the same time after time. So obviously you need to have those recipes absolutely locked down. I guess the advantage you've got here with such a small setup is the variables are tiny, aren't they? Surely you're one brew. I know you've got variables and ingredients which everyone has to deal with, but you can control an awful lot here, can't you?
Oh yeah, totally, yeah. I mean, the grain that I get is very consistent. So I know that's going to act in a certain way every time. As long as you look into the figures, I mean, there is a lot of maths and science, as you know, behind brewing, looking at sort of alpha acid levels of different years of hops, just to make sure you got the same bitterness level. As long as you're in the ballpark. I mean, if my beer was 5 IBUs out from the previous batch, and you put 2 cans next to each other, and you drank them one after another, I doubt very much would you spot any difference in that.
Especially once you're on the 4th or 5th.
Oh yeah, totally. or the first if you have one of my stronger Belgians.
Yeah, I see you've got because you do a barley wine, don't you? What's the strongest beer you've brewed?
It's 11% Belgian Golden Strong. I hate people who sound pretentious, but I just got to get this one out there. I went on Untapped and I looked at the beer style Belgian Golden Strong. So I was like, where am I in Wales? Right, I'm right at the top for that style. Where am I in the UK? So I was at the top for that style. So I thought, oh, come on then. I did the whole world, and on Untapped, it's actually scored the best Golden Strong in the world.
Wow.
And it's like above Duval and places like that. Now, I'm not saying that it is better than their beer. I've got a good following in Wales, and maybe they're a little bit lenient with their scoring sometimes on Untapped. But I just looked at the world score, and I was at the top, and I thought, yeah, that's bizarre, that is.
This is brilliantly, because I now can entitle this episode "When I Visited the Best Brewery in the World," because you can claim it, because you have made the best beer in the world.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far.
We're going to do another little bit of tasting. So what have you got lined up for us here?
Right. This is another very, very new beer. It's only just did go on sale 3 days ago. It's a hazy double IPA. If you notice on my cans, I don't keep a secret of what ingredients are in there. I'll tell you exactly. Obviously not the amount, so you can't go and make it yourself. That would be silly. But you've got pale malt, oats and wheat, so very simple grain bill. The hops are Amarillo, Brew One and Simcoe, and then there's an English ale yeast.
I like that, and as a home brewer, that is lovely to see, because often you pick up a beer that you like, and okay, you can guess what's in it, but there'll be an ingredient maybe that gives it something, and you can't quite spot it. So that's great. And like you say, if you're not, unless you're actually spelling out the recipes and the amounts, then good luck someone trying to brew it themselves.
Oh yeah, I've given it a go when I first started. There's a brewer up in Scotland, Isle of Skye Brewery, and they do a beautiful red ale. And it was made with heather honey. I'm not sure if it's still made with that. So I tried to make a honey red ale. It was a lovely beer, but it didn't taste anything like this.
Right, okay, let's have a taste. So this is called 10 Minutes or 10 Days. Now this is coming out a lovely kind of... it almost actually matches the wooden finish of the the boiling... Is this the boiling vessel? Yeah.
Boil kettle, yeah.
Boil kettle. So here we go. Hazy double IPA. Oh wow! Now that is, again, you seem to have a real talent for disguising the strength of beers, which is quite
strangely enough,
quite dangerous. Because what's this coming in at?
That's a 7.5. That one is.
Wow. Okay, but it wouldn't taste. It tastes more like around a 6 to me. I mean, you can taste it's got strength. You can taste that, but it doesn't come across that strong, which I always think is a really good sign of the kind of smoothness of the beer.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Also, for a double IPA, sometimes those can be very in your face. I've bought cans in craft beer bars before and actually wondered if I'm going to finish this or how long it would take me to finish this. But this is incredibly drinkable. I'm just looking at the ingredients, and I think the English ale. This is again what I love about the fact that you've putting the yeast on. How many breweries put the yeast on? I don't think anyone else does. Do they?
No, I think I've seen it on some of them, but I mean, it's very under talked about is yeast and the amount of flavour and the differential between using different yeasts makes to the beer. I think it's a really important part, but people don't seem to take enough notice of it.
Well, I totally agree, because this you can taste that this has that with the English ale yeast. It's got that more regular ale character to it, but kind of mixed in with what you would think of as an IPA. It kind of feels like a bit of a hybrid to me, which actually is right down my street, because I do sometimes find the kind of ever increasing hop bills on the IPAs, they just get a little bit much for me. But this, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because there's so many beers on the market, to stand out, you've got to have these little tricks that you use to differentiate yourself between different beers, because there's breweries out there that I've drunk their beers, and don't get me wrong, their beers are absolutely incredible, but you taste the next one and you think, hang on, is that actually a different beer, or is it the same one that I've just had?
I'm actually with you. I think with beer, and also as a brewer, if you can demonstrate range, which clearly you can, given that, well, the two beers we've tasted today do not taste the same. They're very different. And also, talking about the Belgian, was it double that you brewed that's the best beer in the world? Well, I'm going to keep mentioning the best beer in the world. What was that one again? A Golden Belgian?
Belgian Golden Strong.
There you go. So that's very different from what we're drinking now. So do you enjoy having that range of what you brew and kind of expressing yourself across the styles?
I do indeed. Sometimes I do feel a little bit constrained by the craft beer market. I just want to break out and do something completely different. But it's like the barley wine I've made. Everybody absolutely loved that. But if I only made barley wine, I'd go out of business, because I can sell 120 IPAs compared with one can of barley wine.
You've got to kind of respect the market conditions as well. Do you have any of your barley wine left? Because I definitely want to buy a can of that.
I've got about 12 cans left, yes.
Or maybe they're being stored for the archive. I don't know. Final things, like I say, there's there's a lot of homebrewers that listen. What's your advice to people either just starting out or just a few brews in? You know, what are the key things to really make your beers be good?
The first game changer for me was temperature control. If you haven't got a strict temperature control, then your beer isn't going to taste anywhere near as good as it can be. Freshness in ingredients is a really important one. You don't want to use a bag of malt that's been lying on the shelf for the past 2 years, because it's not going to be right. I mean, just have fun with it, to be honest. There's certain things that you have to do, but apart from that, just do whatever you want.
I love the ethos of this brewery, and I'll take some photos to put up on socials, maybe a little bit of a video. The video tour will literally last 10 seconds because it is the inside of a garage. But places like this, people like you, really just fill me with joy about the brewing scene. It's built on passion, and what you can do with a bit of passion, some of your own research, and just putting the time in, you can literally make the best beer in the world. So again, thank you very much for the tasting, for the tour. It's been an absolute pleasure, and look, good luck with the future. Not that you need it, because you're absolutely smashing it.
Well, thank you very much. I'm blushing there. Yeah, thanks for coming down. It's been great fun.
Massive thanks to Lee for making me so welcome. If you want to buy some of his amazing beer, then go to dogswindowbrewery.com. That's dogswindowbrewery.com, all one word, Dogswindow Brewery, or at Dogswindow on Twitter. I bought 6 cans on my way out. Last night I had the Little Dog on the Bridge Extra Pale Ale, and it was fantastic, and I may well treat myself to the barley wine tonight. Please, please, please support great little breweries like this by buying their beer. That's what keeps them going, that's what supports the grassroots of the industry, and that's what guarantees a strong selection of beers to choose from in the future. Now, some exciting news. Natvar Brews is about to get something that all good podcasts have, a theme tune. The very talented musician Simon Oakes, a Cardiff friend of mine, has composed some music especially for the podcast. It is so good. It's brilliant, it's odd, it's catchy. You will love it. Now, I'm paying Simon in Homebrew. He will get an entire 23-litre batch to himself, but he hasn't chosen yet what he wants me to make him. And I think to discuss this, and all things beer and music, two subjects that intertwine so well, I need to get Simon on as a guest. So that is coming soon. And when that episode drops, that's when we will debut the new theme tune. Thank you for listening. Keep spreading the word of the podcast. Subscribe, write a nice review, tell your friends. But most of all, between now and the next time we do an episode, have a nice life. Keep the beer flowing. That's it. See you later.